you have a question? Yes, I can. You mentioned the war in the world, and you didn't speak the language, and now you're back and you want all this information. Can you communicate? You just speak dialects. How do you get the depth of feeling without knowing the language?
Well, I think it's twofold. A lot of Iraqis speak English. So the fact that I can communicate with most of my family in English and in this, what I was talking about, this broken English, was, in my little bit of Arabic, was a mishmash of puzzling it. And I think the play came out of that. If I were fluent in Arabic, I would have talked to people in a fluent way, or they would be talking to me in a fluent way. And I would be writing something fluent and then sort of translating. And then we'd have a translated play. And this isn't a translated play. This is a very visceral, I'm trying to communicate through my barriers kind of play. So I think it's a blessing in disguise. However, to answer the bigger question of how do you communicate when you can't communicate, is, I think, a gift that lots of actors have. With language, exactly. Actors know how to do it. And for instance, I spent 2 weeks in Turkey. I was on a bus going to Istanbul, wondering where I was going to spend the night, looking for a hostel. And I asked this woman next to me, "Do you know a safe part of town?" And before I knew it, I was going home with her. And she wasn't speaking English, and I couldn't speak Turkish. And she was just, and I looked in her eyes, and I went, "I trust you, I just do." And I got to her house, and I was opening, so when I was backpacking, I was opening my backpack to take something out, because I was going to go around today. She told me to meet her back at the house when they got home from work. So it was, that kind of stuff. And I was locking my backpack like I do without thinking. She just went, took the lock off my backpack. I stayed with them for 2 weeks. I bought a dictionary that week. We sat around dinner for 4 hours a night, talking, with finding the weirdest word. We spent 2 weeks doing this. And this was 10 years ago. Just the other day, I found the paper that they wrote for me when I was leaving, because I was going from Turkey to Iraq. And from Iraq, back to Turkey, back to America. They weren't going to be in Turkey when I was coming back, on my way back to America for 2 days. But they wanted me to stay in their house, because it would be shameful if I didn't. So there's this letter when they left for work in the morning. Take key with you. No worry, throw it in ocean. When you're...
I found that in Turkey, I was there about 10 years ago. They loved Americans. I don't know about today, but they were very kind.
They are. That's exceptional. Who's to say? I remember reading one thing about Turkish traits or whatever it is. They want to take you. They want to take you home. They want to do these kinds of things for you. Don't find it alarming. So that so I went, well, that's not alarming. I guess I'll just try to buy them as many sweets as I can. You know what I mean? So it was just this. That's how the same with my family, the same with Iraqis. It was,
I'll take one more question. Yes.
Just wondering about the title.
The 9 Parts of Desire.
Yes. 9 Parts of Desire the title comes from Geraldine Brooks' book called 9 Parts of Desire. And she wrote a book where each chapter is, she goes to a different country in the Middle East. And she culled that title from a quote by Ali ibn Abi Talib, who is Fatima's husband. Fatima is Muhammad's daughter. So this is arguably the first Shia leader of the Islamic world. And the quote goes, "God created sexual desire in 10 parts, gave 9 to women and 1 to men. And created shyness in 10 parts, 9 to women and 1 to men." And I had that quote sitting around in it was 97 that I read Geraldine Brooks' book. So just before I was starting to write, I just had the quote line because I thought it was funny. But I also thought there was something to chew on here. What does that mean? There's 10 parts of sexual desire or shyness or whatever, and why women and why women. And so I think that it was one of the premises of the book for me, of my book, and that's why.
Well, I hate to have to break this up because I think we could talk for another 2 hours, but I do think we all need to move on. And thank you once again for joining